promote Satanism, are devil worshippers living in your street?
Satan.
And from devils to angels, we go a little bit country with KASEY Chambers. This is the Project. Good evening and welcome to the Project. Joining us at the desk tonight, Biggie Bob and
this morning, so yes. Delirious.
And don't we look amazing?
Let's see what's making news today. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce has confirmed the airline is posting a $2.8 billion loss for the last financial year. So, what is behind the drop in altitude? Qantas shareholders would have preferred to listen to almost anyone at this morning's press conference, including the guys doing the sound check.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But instead, they got Mr. Miserable.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for being here at the Qantas headquarters.
And with an intro like that, you could tell the news wasn't great.
The statutory loss after tax of $2.8 billion reflects the underlying loss and the costs associated with our $2 billion Qantas transformation program.
Yet Qantas lost a staggering $2.8 billion this year, a huge nosedive from 2013's already low profit, and around double what most analysts were predicting.
The loss, in fact, is not nearly as bad as it sounds, because most of it relates to the write-down of its international fleet, which is a paper loss, not a cash loss.
There's no doubt that today's numbers are confronting, but they represent the year that has passed, and we have now come through the worst.
Joyce says the good news is Qantas isn't planning any more redundancies on top of the 5,000 announced in February. But there's one job loss that critics would be happy to hear about: the CEOs.
Is the national interest being served when an airline has given its executive salaries an 80% increase in 4 years and seen 10,000 jobs going?
I cannot understand why Alan Joyce is still CEO.
So is it time for Qantas to find itself a new captain?
Alan Joyce declined our invitation to speak, which is such a shame because that accent is adorable. So instead we're speaking to Steve Purvinas, who also has a lovely accent and heads up Australian Licensed Aircraft Engineers Association. Steve, I have to ask, how do you lose $2.8 billion?
It's pretty easy, mate. All you do is you start up a new airline called Jetstar. You get it to pilfer all of the routes that Qantas were previously flying, and then you find that you've got your aircraft being filled up with people who are only prepared to pay half as much as they previously were for the flights. People don't walk around the street saying, my favourite airline is Jetstar. They want to fly Qantas, and that's where the passengers should be.
Do you believe that there'll be no more job losses?
Well, they've said already earlier this year that there's going to be 5,000 losses over the next 3 years. They're about 2,500 into that. The problem is nobody knows where the next 2,500 are going to come from. And where I represent members is in the engineering game. And what we're seeing is they've already slashed a whole lot of guys from the business there. They found that there's too many of them have gone, and there's guys who've been marched out the gate, and on the same day they're getting text messages from management saying, can you come back in and work overtime? So who knows where they're going to get rid of the other staff from.
Alan Joyce has said that he is quite happy to skip the pay rise, which is delightful of him. Firstly, how much is he on, and is skipping a pay rise enough?
That's really nice of him saying he's going to skip his pay rise. Here's a bloke who earns the same as the combined salary of the KASEY Pacific CEO, the Singapore Airlines CEO, and the Air New Zealand CEO put together.
Okay, so, follow-up question, how do I get that job?
I don't know how stupid you have to be, but someone obviously was stupid enough to appoint you in the first place.
I'm stupid enough.
Well, maybe you might be, mate, but I only wish I was that stupid myself.
Steve, one last question. Given you have been associated with this industry for so long, does it make you sad, though, that one of our major airlines, Qantas, is in this situation?
Yeah, really sad. My father worked in the industry and got me the job. We've got 150 years worth of experience in aviation in this country within my own family. To see someone come in and just trash the brand like they have is really sad for myself and for every employee who works very hard to make Qantas what it always has been, the #1 airline in the world.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for speaking.
Firstly, I think just because I've been holding away my frequent flyer accounts for years, is it going to be okay?
How many have you got now?
Over 1 million.
What?
Yes, I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
yourself. So bad day for Qantas. Or was it? Did they make a loss or a profit, Alan Joyce?
This morning, Qantas announced an underlying loss before tax of $646 million.
That room got really excited for about half a second.
So for a moment he's like, wait, no.
I'm just glad that the Qantas hierarchy didn't descend into corporate babble to try and talk up the future of the company.
We're structuring the business in the way that provides us the maximum level of optionality.
We're creating options for ourselves, and the structure allows us to have different options.
I know you've talked about optionality. Can you explain what the purpose of it is?
This is all about long-term optionality, because we want to have optionality that's gone forward.
So it just increases the options and the optionality.
Okay. You know, when you're speaking about options, the word optionality is not an option.
Let's see what's happening in other news today, Thursday the 28th of August, and a 21-year-old